It's Lou. And you know what? Yeah, okay, it's the 25th, March 25th. I knew I meant to look it up, but I didn't know if I did. Anyway, I was just going to do a video, but then I thought, well, maybe I'll go live and just see what's happening out there. Um, I've done a lot of different things on my channel, and I can't remember now if I read the words of Mormon. See, that's another part of the Book of Mormon. So I was just telling you guys the other day, probably just in a video instead of a live, who Mormon is. People don't realize we were nicknamed the Mormons, okay, because of this man named Mormon. And then what I just read, his dad was named Mormon too. I didn't know that. I was thinking he was the only one. But he's pretty cool. I wonder if I got a picture. We don't have a real picture of Mormon, but in the Book of Mormon, the ones that the missionaries bring, there are some pictures in the front. So it's like a depiction. Okay, this is Moroni. You see this right here? That's the golden place. I don't know if you can see it very good, but that's the golden place. And he's fixing to hide them up until, well, this is 421 AD. And then he's going to come back and he's going to see Joseph Smith in 1823, I believe is what it was. Okay, and he's going to show him where these plates are. And then even at 1823, he doesn't let Joseph have the plates. He's just telling him about them. So let's see, 14 and a half is how old he was when he had the first vision. That was in 1820. And so about, I think, almost 3.5 years later, he appears to Joseph Smith, this guy named Moroni, who is a resurrected being. I can't remember exactly how they said it. It was better than that. A glorified, resurrected being who came and appeared to Joseph Smith and showed him, first in his head, showed him where these plates were, told him about them, told him a lot of things. In fact, that first night that he came and talked to him, he visited him 3 different times and rehearsed the very same thing over again, not with any variation. And then the next day, at the end of that 3rd visit, Joseph heard the cock crow. So he had been entertained by Angel Moroni all night long. So then he's got to get up and go do chores with his Papa Bear. So he's out in the field working with his dad. And he doesn't have any strength because he's been up all night. He's exhausted. And his dad sends him home because he knows there's something wrong. So anyway, as Joseph is heading back to the house, I think he went to cross a fence, I'm thinking, and he fell. He collapsed. And then what would happen was Angel Moroni was there again, saying the exact same thing. But then he told him, go tell your father what has happened, which he did. And his father believed him and said it was from God and sent him home to go to bed. But anyway, I got onto my iPad, that app that I've told you guys to get. I got onto my iPad and there's the words of Mormon. So I thought, you know what? That's only a 1-chapter thing and it'll explain some stuff to you. But in the meantime, I was going to show you who Mormon is. Okay, I just showed you Angel Moroni, which is the son of Mormon. This is when, that's when Jesus appeared to the Bountiful Temple. This is the ship that they built to go across the waters. And I'm talking about Lehi and his family, and Ishmael and their family. Laman and Lemuel, Sam and Nephi. And I don't know the girls, of course. This is Joseph Smith. But I want to show you Mormon. And it's not a picture, like I said, because we don't have a picture from back then. Oh, it's not here? Come on, tell me it's not in here. The very front is a picture of Jesus. Okay, I don't think there's any more pictures. Doggone it. Where would that be? Da, 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 da. I have got a picture somewhere. So, you know what? I've got a picture. If you go to my post and scroll, and then you will find there's a guy there, muscular guy, and he's sitting there, and he's got records around him, and he's got a pen and paper or something. Anyway, so that picture that I'm looking for is already posted. Do 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 do, hey, hey. This shows down here. Can you see it? Because I can't really tell. But it's showing people getting baptized. Oh, did I do it right? Okay. I don't know that you can see it, and I can't see it very well, but I can see it in front of me. I don't think Mormon's going to be in here. Oh, no, that's Moroni. All right, you'll have to go to my post. So, like I said, I was just going to do a video, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll just go ahead and do a live and see if anybody's out there, if anybody wants to show up or not. It's one of those impromptu things. I do talk funny. I've been listening to myself. I got a southern drawl. But you know what? It's only natural. Because I grew up until I went through the 8th grade. And then it took a long time of working to get rid of that accent. But then I lived with my mom and dad, even then when I was going to high school, And then for that, I've been here a year and 3 months. And I was at Nancy's 5 months. And before that, I was with Dad for about a year and a half, I think. But the point is, my dad had quite the southern draw. And when you're around it, you just kind of pick it back up. So I'm not sure if I'd actually gotten rid of it or if I just picked it back up or what. But I've been noticing when I'm listening to myself, it's like, wow. Certain words, like the word thang. Anyway, I went ahead and got on to my iPad. And so what showed up was the Words of Mormon. I thought, oh, well, maybe I should read that. So here's what it says. It says chapter 1, but I'm pretty sure there's only one chapter. It says the Words of Mormon, chapter 1. Mormon abridges the large plates of Nephi. He puts the small plates with other plates. King Benjamin establishes peace in the land about AD 385. So if that's 385, you see the record was the last time it was entered, before it was hidden, was 421 AD. So you got 85, that's 15, and then 21. So that would be 36, about 36 years after he wrote this. So he's abridging records. It says, and now I, Mormon, being about to deliver up the record which I have been making into the hands of my son Moroni. Behold, I have witnessed almost all the destruction of my people, the Nephites. And it is many hundred years after the coming of Christ that I deliver these records into the hands of my son. And it supposeth me that he will witness the entire destruction of my people. But may God grant that he may survive them, that he may write somewhat concerning them, and somewhat concerning Christ, that perhaps some day it may profit them. Okay, so and now I speak somewhat concerning that which I have written. For after I had made an abridgment from the plates of Nephi down to the reign of this King Benjamin, of whom Amaleki spake, I searched among the records which had been delivered into my hands, and I found these plates, which contained this small account of the prophets, from Jacob down to the reign of this King Benjamin, and also many of the words of Nephi. And the things which are upon these plates, pleasing me, because of the prophecies of the coming of Christ, and my fathers knowing that many of them have been fulfilled. Yea, and I also know that as many things as have been prophesied concerning us down to this day have been fulfilled, and as many as go beyond this day must surely come to pass. Wherefore, wherefore I chose these things to finish my record upon them, which remainder of my record I shall take from the plates of Nephi, and I cannot write the 100th part of the things of my people. But behold, I shall take these plates, which contain these prophesyings and revelations, and put them with the remainder of my record, for they are choice unto me, and I know they will be choice unto my brethren, which means us, people. And I do this for a wise purpose, for thus it whispereth me, according to the workings of the Spirit of the Lord, which is in me. And now I do not know all things, but the Lord knoweth all things which are to come. Wherefore he worketh in me to do according to his will. And my prayer to God is concerning my brethren, that they may once again come to the knowledge of God, yea, the redemption of Christ, that they may once again be a delightsome people. And now I, Mormon, proceed to finish out my record, which I take from the plates of Nephi, and I make it according to the knowledge and the understanding which God has given me. Wherefore it came to pass that after Amaleki had delivered up these plates into the hands of King Benjamin, he took them and put them with the other plates, which contained records which had been handed down by the kings from generation to generation until the days of King Benjamin. And they were handed down from King Benjamin from generation to generation until they have fallen into my hands. And I, Mormon, pray to God that they may be preserved from this time henceforth, and I know that they will be preserved, for there are great things written upon them, out of which my people and their brethren shall be judged at the great and last day, according to the word of God, which is written. And now concerning this King Benjamin, he had somewhat of contentions among his own people. And it came to pass also that the armies of the Lamanites came down out of the land of Nephi to battle against his people. But behold, King Benjamin gathered together his armies, and he did stand against them, and he did fight with the strength of his own arm, with the sword of Laban. Right there is pretty cool. Sword of Laban. I've told you people about that before, but if you haven't been listening, you would not know. I mean, you didn't know about me probably anyway. But the sword of Laban. There's a great story that goes with that, and it's in the beginning of the Book of Mormon. Laban was a mean, mean, mean guy. And through a series of events, he had his own head cut off with his own sword. So he got his just rewards. But it was in getting the records. Lehi's family, the boys went back to get that record, the brass plates. And Laban was the one in charge of that. And they went to Laban and they offered him all their riches that they had to leave behind. All of their property and riches, he offered them. They offered him. And for the record, well, Laban wouldn't let him have it. He says, I'll just take your property and I'll keep the record. But later on that night, Nephi went back to try to get the record because it was very important that they take the record. And he did make a statement that the Lord would not give him a commandment to do something unless he would provide a way. So he went back, even though his brothers did not go with him. He was alone. And when he went back, he found Laban drunker than a skunk, or just, drunk, incapacitated. And God told him to take his sword and cut off his head, which Nephi's going, no way, because that's against what he believed. But God said, it is better that one man die than a whole nation die in unbelief. So comparing one man to massive amounts of people. So Nephi was instructed to take the sword of Laban and cut his head off, which he did. And they got the record. But that's a simplified version of it. He took Laban's clothes and put them on because, see, he was where he shouldn't have been. And he could have been apprehended and killed himself trying to get the record. So he took Laban's clothes and put them on. And one of the servants of Laban showed up. And Nephi told him, he said, you have a choice. You can come with me, make an oath with me that you will not tell anyone, and you will come with us and I'll spare your life. But otherwise you're dead. So really, what choice did he have, right? But so the servant of Laban went with him. They got the record and the sword of Laban. And so that's what they were just saying. And he did fight with the strength of his own arm with the sword of Laban. And that was, who was that? Was that King Benjamin? So, you got these people. I stopped in the middle, but, right, like today, we have these people that are telling our young folks what to do. Go over there and kill this one and kill that one and shoot this and shoot that. But they're not there. They're not the ones fighting. They're just sending our young folks out to do that. Well, this is King Benjamin, and he's fighting right along with his people. He's not standing back in the background, sending everyone else to do the killing, I guess is what we want to say. All right, so, sword of Laban. And in the strength of the Lord, they did contend against their enemies until they had slain many thousands of the Lamanites. And it came to pass that they did contend against the Lamanites until they had driven them out of all the lands of their inheritance. And it came to pass that after there had been false Christ, and their mouths had been shut, and they punished according to their crimes. And after there had been false prophets and false preachers and teachers among the people, and all these having been punished according to their crimes. And after There having been much contention and many dissensions away, that's the right word, unto the Lamanites, behold, it came to pass that King Benjamin, with the assistance of the holy prophets who were among his people, for behold, King Benjamin was a holy man, and he did reign over his people in righteousness. And there were many holy men in the land. Now, I talked about this the other day. We're going to talk about prophecy. Okay, listen to this one. It says, and behold, King Benjamin was a holy man, and he did reign over his people in righteousness. And there were many holy men in the land, and they did speak the word of God with power and with authority, and they did use much sharpness because of the stiff-neckedness of the people. Wherefore, with the help of these, King Benjamin, by laboring with all the might of his body and the faculty of his whole soul, and also the prophets, did once more establish peace in the land. Okay, that's the end of the Words of Mormon. Tripping. Okay, let me make sure. We'll go over here, make sure there's not another chapter, but I know there isn't. Okay, it's not going anywhere. The next one is the Book of Mosiah. Okay, and I've read that too, I believe, or part of it. So, the Sword of Laban. The Sword of Laban was in that box with the Book of Mormon. The golden plates in the Hill Cumorah in Palmyra, New York, when Joseph Smith went to get the plates after 4 years. In other words, he went there every year, but he was not allowed to get the plates for 4 years. But inside that box with the plates was the Sword of Laban. Trip. And the Sword of Laban would have been right at 600 years before Christ. So like I said the other day, you got 600 years before Christ, and then you've got 421 years after that the records were kept and abridged. So anyway, I think that's really interesting. Of course, leave it to me to think that, right? I'm just trying to share. So, that wasn't what I was going to do, and I do need to just go ahead and go do another video. I need to do another video out of that book, Added Upon. So, since there's nobody here, I'll just go ahead and leave. You know, it's time for everybody to be going to bed anyway, right? I need to go get ready for bed myself. I hope and pray that my words reach people that need it. I mean, everybody needs it, but not everybody's going to pay attention. But even if I just reach some people, it'll be worth it. This Book of Mormon is a marvelous, marvelous work and a wonder. In fact, there is a book called A Marvelous Work and a Wonder. And I think, let's see if I can find that. All right, so I have to go to my scriptures on here. I'm going to go onto this app. Then I'm going to go back to the Old Testament. Because in the Old Testament, I think it was Malachi. Not Malachi, but Malachi. When, if my memory serves me right, when Moroni came to Joseph Smith, and like I said, he rehearsed the same thing over and over again, 3 different times, and then the next day again, he was quoting Malachi about turning the hearts of the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children, and I'm probably not saying it. It says, at the second coming, the proud and wicked will be burned as stubble. Elijah will return before the great and dreadful day. Let's see, Elijah has already returned. End of the prophets. Okay, here's the last. Okay, I'm going to read the last two verses in Malachi 4. It says, Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Oh, I probably should have read the whole thing. It's really short. At the second coming, the proud and wicked will be burned as stubble. Elijah will return before the great and dreadful day. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah. Okay, so I already read that part. So it's really kind of hard to understand what he's saying there unless you get some other information to go with it. The Lord's messenger will prepare the way for the second coming. The Lord will sit in judgment. The people of Israel are commanded to pay tithes and offerings. They keep a book of remembrance. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as in the days of old, and as in former years. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow, and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from mine ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke and devour for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. And all nations shall call you blessed, for ye shall be a delightsome land, saith the Lord of hosts. Your words have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? Ye have said, it is vain to serve God. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt God are even delivered. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. And in that day, when I make up my jewels, I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. Okay, hey Jacob, how you doing? I saw something happening, but I wanted to stay with what I was doing because I knew it wasn't that much more and I didn't want to interrupt it. So that's Malachi 3. And I believe it's probably the last chapter in the Old Testament. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yes, Malachi is the last book in the Old Testament. I'm glad, Jacob, that you're good. And I'm doing pretty good, too. I mean, you know, it depends on what time of day you talk to me. Sometimes I'm not doing so good, but I'm doing good now. Give me a little time and I get over it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't going to do a live. In fact, I thought about quitting doing lives because they seem to be a circus. But I think I'm still getting a hold of some people, so I just have to bear with it. Yes, I had people offering to be moderators, telling me about my trolls. And there definitely were some trolls. I didn't really know what that meant, but I figured it out. But I got rid of several people. And then a whole line different comments went away with them. So that meant that they had all put, not all, the troll had put a bunch of comments on there. But there were a few. Sad but true. And I guess I'll put my glasses on so I can read. I keep seeing my glasses and say, those things don't belong there. Oh, really? Well, you know what? Just don't get struck by it. Lightning is pretty, but I don't think it'd be very pretty if it struck you. Might leave a good mark on you if you survive. Leave a good mark on you if you're dead. I knew a guy once that got struck by lightning. And they didn't find him for 3 days. Maybe I'm not sure about that. You know, 3 is my lucky number. I guess I use it too much, but it seems like they did not find him for a while. And I don't think it was 3 hours, because what he did, this was in Perryton, Texas. His name was John George. and he went out to check the water in the middle of the night. You know those big old things with the wheels that go around and round, and they've got, I don't know what they're called, but they water the fields. Anyway, he went out to check on those, and that's metal. And he did it in a storm. He was a young man. He didn't live. Oh, you're kidding. All right, Jacob. It's time to be taking care of business. I hope you guys are, before it gets too hot. See, that's the thing. You have this little breathing room in the spring and in the fall. And otherwise, it's too hot or too cold to get anything done. I remember. Anyway, see, if you hadn't gone on here and said some stuff, I was going to leave. Yeah, and sometimes it can be a difference of 50 degrees in a day, maybe even more. So yeah, enjoy that rain when it comes, and I don't know what to tell you. Here I am. I like to give advice because I did live there for a while. But you gotta seize the moment. When you can stand the weather, you need to take care of business. It's bipolar. Yeah, we know about that. I'm probably bipolar too. Who knows? I can definitely switch. Turn on a dime. You know, it just depends. You be nice to me, I'd be nice. You be mean to me, and all of a sudden I'm mean. But I don't know. That's not really bipolar, is it? But, you know, some people would think it was. I have that too. I don't have the HD. I have the ADD. I kind of wish I had a little bit of that hyperactive stuff if it means you got some energy to get something done. See, my problem is I have attention deficit disorder, but no one ever diagnosed me, except for when I took Joe to the chiropractor, and I was talking to the chiropractor about Joe, and right in the middle of my sentence, I switched to another thing. He says, are we a little ADD, are we? So that's my diagnosis, you know, but why did they wait so damn long to do that? You know, and then I was over 55 and they wouldn't give me medication for it. No, we don't give people over 55 medication for that. And I'm going, oh, really? Rotten people. Anyway, all I know is you need to take care of business while you can. And if it was 80s today, oh my. And see, yeah, we had some really cold weather, and then it got really nice. And today was nice, except for then it was cloudy, and then it got chilled off. Yeah, I mean, really. And another thing, you were saying that door won't stay shut. Well, you know what's going to happen. It's going to make everything all Willy Wonka's out of alignment to where it will not shut. You got to find a way to make it stay shut, or it's going to be worse and worse, because I just pictured that today. I thought to myself, oh, that door is slamming. When the wind is blowing so bad, that door's going in and out and slamming. It's going to be a mess if it's not already too late. Anyway, that's a nice trailer, and I was so glad to have it. I lived in that trailer. I mean, I did get my money's worth out of that trailer. It was a godsend, although I went and searched it out. I found it, and I went and searched it out, and I was going to leave because I didn't have the money. He wanted $2,500. And so when I went when I went to leave, he's going, well, what would you pay, you know? And I told him 1,500, and he took it. So it's like, oh, okay. And then actually, not even just that, he brought it to us. We didn't have a way to get it there. But see, then I lived in it for a long time. And then when I was blind, I lived in it. A small living space. which was good because I knew where things were in that small living space. But when I left that trailer, I went down the stairs and out of the trailer. I was lost. I didn't know which way to go. I was frozen because I didn't want to get lost any more than I was already. Scary business. So anyway, that trailer is wonderful. And you can take that trailer. I mean, you need to get that door. You know what you need to do. But get it to where it's usable, because you could take that trailer to a trailer park. And they have all the things you need. You know, you plug it into the water, you take the hose out, plug it into the septic, and then you hook up the electric and you're ready to go. Nice little apartment. So yeah, I'd be coating that ceiling or the roof and fixing that door. Besides that, I might need to live in it. Nevertheless, it is a wonderful deal. Except for the thing that was on the mirror. I think it's still there. There's a sign on the mirror that's telling you you really shouldn't be living in it. And I can't remember why. Like maybe odors that would come out of the wood and different things that wouldn't be good for your health. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Now, are you talking about the big trailer? Because I'm talking about the little trailer. Yeah, there's a trailer court in town. Yes, there is. Is that what you're talking about? All you need to do to fix the sewer in that trailer is to have the hose. You need a new hose, is all. You hook up the hose and then you hook it down into a septic, which would be at the trailer park. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a nice little apartment, but it was really nice. Like I said, I was blind for about 6 months and it was horrid. And I was so glad that I had that trailer. There were no tanks on it. What are you talking about? That FEMA trailer that I'm talking about outside? The little trailer? Yeah, there's no holding tanks. Like I said, maybe I didn't say it. It is a park model. You can haul that thing to a trailer court and hook it up to everything. Campers have holding tanks, but not that one. It is a mobile home. It's really a small mobile home. A wonderful thing to have. Itself for that. And if you have holding tanks, you got to go empty them. So if you are set up with a septic, all you need is the hose to put down into the septic and you're all right. Yeah, it's wonderful. Take care of my trailer. Take care of my other trailer. I'll need to talk to you guys tomorrow. I didn't really plan on getting on here tonight. I was going to come in here and read. I've started reading a book called Added Upon. And so I was going to read part of it. I've got little segments because the copyright's from 1898. And it's a little hard for me to read. So I'm not the best reader in the first place, but it's pretty interesting. Yes, we are. What does that mean? Oh, you're taking care of my stuff. Okay. It's really a good thing. I'll try to find some way to keep that door shut. I mean, you were saying it was banging. I had a house. Okay. I had a house in Perryton. Way long time ago. I bought a house on the auction block. Actually, my dad bought it, and then I told him, you want me to stay in Perryton, Texas and work for you? Then you need to let me buy one of those houses that you bought, which he did. And I got one that had 2 lots. Well, one full lot and 40 feet of another lot. and we'll leave it at that. It was a really good deal even at that. But the house was not in the greatest of shape. My mother would have never lived there, but I did. I lived there a long time. But the point is, the front door, the storm door, would just go bang, 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 bang when the wind blew. Well, you know what that ended up doing? It pulled my front wall away from the foundation. It pulled it out because it banged so much. I was a stupid woman. I didn't know, and I didn't have a man around, you know. I just let it bang. So don't let that happen. Anyway, 80 degrees, huh? Well, we didn't have that here today. I was going to go out, and I got all chilled. I had to come back in and change to a long sleeve shirt anyway. So the weather can't decide what it's doing. It's going to be good one minute and bad the next. But I know that it's time to get some things done. Huh? Did you say that earlier? It got up to 90? It's going to be hot. Going to be living in hell. No, it has. I'm not sure how hot it's got there. I know about in Kansas one year it got to 115. The House and Downs. 75's good. Good temperature. Hi, Evan. Alexandra. It's good to see you or hear you or something. I tend to think I'm seeing things when I'm not, right? You know, I know. It's Indiana, right? Or is it Illinois? Which one is it? See, I get them confused. And is Indiana in Illinois? I appreciate you. Really, I do. Oh, it is Illinois. Not Indiana. What's the town? My memory sucks anyway. So don't get mad at me if I forget. I thought I'd just give it a shout out and see what happened. Illinois temperature was 70 today. Well, I don't know what ours was today, and I don't have my other phone in here, so I won't look it up. I travel back and forth between two rooms. I have a bedroom, and then she let me. My youngest granddaughter was staying in here, but they did a switcheroo. Tyler was living here when I first got here, and he's my oldest grandson. But he has moved out, and when he moved out, then my youngest granddaughter took his room, and then my daughter let me have this room for my office and my sewing and stuff. So I travel between two rooms, and the bathroom is in the middle, so that works out pretty good. In other words, I leave this door, and there's a bathroom on the left, and I go down just a little bit, and the next left is my bedroom. But they're small rooms. But still, they are sufficient. And it's a heck of a lot better than living on the street, is it not? I mean, I do appreciate having a roof and walls and heat. I don't really remember how hot it got up here. I mean, I'm on the second floor. And if you count the basement, I'm on the third floor. I go up and down stairs quite a bit. And I did kind of tumble the other day. You know, glasses, you people that have bifocals, when you look down, you can't tell the depth, and then the stairs are not that deep, so the back of my foot wants to get stuck on the stair going down. But I had too much stuff. You forget that you shouldn't do that. When I first got here, I held on, and I was really careful how I went up and down the stairs. But you forget. And I was going down the stairs the other day with a whole lot of stuff in my hands, not holding on to the rail. And I couldn't necessarily see where the stair was. I made it down the stairs until there were like 2 steps left, and I fell down those 2 stairs. I fell right down, and that could have been bad. So don't do that, you people. And I'm going to try not to do it either. But I have to remember You know, when I was on the property, like I was just talking to Jacob, when I used to live in Colorado, I was living in that trailer that I was just talking to him about. You're right. I got to be careful because you know what? Some people do not recover from falls. You fall, you break something, and you might not ever get back to normal. So I do have to be careful. One time going down these same stairs, I had socks on. My foot slid out of my damn sock. In other words, the sock wasn't tight and stuff, and then I fell. So I guess when they say, have you fallen in the last year? I say no. But maybe I have. No, that was just the other day, within the last week and a half or so. Yep, I see that every day as an x-ray tech. People break hips every day. Oh, man. So that's what you do for a living, huh, Alexandra? How old are you? I don't know if I ever found out. I know that's not a question you're supposed to really ask, but you know. Yeah, see, that's a good age. So they've been using your drawer and they were bringing food up there, making a stash. That's what it sounds like. Oh, this is Jacob. Okay, I thought you were Abin. Yeah, they found their little home. They have a shelter, right? And they had to have some food. That's funny. Really need to take care of things. I hope you find a way to do that. I'm talking to Jacob. What does that sign mean, Jacob? I see that a lot. I don't know what it means. Abin's got it too. Can you see the comments? It looks like an X with a cross at the top and an A. What does that mean? I'm the first gifter. What did you gift me? I see the crown. I see number 1 by a crown. And I don't know what your symbol is over here on the side. The red streak through whatever. I don't know if I can, I don't want to touch it. Anyway, I've just seen that symbol quite a bit and I didn't know what it was. And I'm not talking about the crown with the number 1. It's like a partial X with a cross on the top, and there's a little bit up above it, and then there's an A next to it. I just wonder what it is. Oh, your icon is for firefighters? The thing on the side? Okay. But I'm talking about a different thing, and it's not showing now. If you go up a bit, it'll show. Okay. You doing good with the firefighting? I wish I was 43 again. I don't know. I don't know what I wish, you know? It's like I was saying the other day, it might be really nice on the other side. Once we get there, we might really love that, right? It's just my body. I'd like to have a younger body. I said that the other day, and I was talking with a girl that was 14. She said it's not nice to be young. She suffers from bullying and anxiety and ADD and a whole bunch of different things. I felt really bad because, you know, children are kind of stuck wherever their parents are or if they're in foster care. I don't think she was in foster care, but the schools are so big. Schools are so big and there's so many bullies. You know, I remember being young, being at a bus stop and someone throwing rocks at me. But I wasn't a strong enough individual then. I'd be picking up a handful of rocks and throwing them back. But I didn't at that point in time in my youth because I was very young. I just can't believe people can be so mean is the whole thing. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. I'm going to call you Evan, Alexandra. It's not cool. Oh, Jacob, you do not feel 80 years old. You don't look like you feel like it anyway. And I don't want to feel 80. I don't even want to feel my age. Yeah, you enjoy what? The firefighting. Okay. Okay. Oh, cool. And I don't know what I said for you to say it's not, LOL. Okay. Yeah. We hope for a better day when people are not like that. I just don't understand how, and it's like I said, you send your kid off to school, right? And then all the other kids at the school come from all these different backgrounds. You don't know what's going on in their homes, and they bring that to school with them, and then they act like their parents. Oh. Well, I was talking about a 14-year-old. Jacob's a lot older than that. I mean, he's out there he's learning how to be a firefighter. So all I know is I don't want to be young, and I don't know. A lot of us will say, if we could just go back and do it all over again, what would we do? I just have no clue. What would I do? If I knew now if I knew then what I know now, then I would have made a lot different decisions. Oh, okay. Then you already know how to be a firefighter. Well, that's something you and Joe have in common. Once upon a time, he was a firefighter too when he was young. When he had his strength. Yeah, I know he told you. So you're both. I don't know that Joe could really go out and do much firefighting. I don't know that his body would let him now. But he still has the smarts. Joe's a pretty smart character. So, very exciting. Yeah, he is. He's really smart. He's also very stupid. Like wanting to use dynamite to go boom. Yeah. I was talking about that property today. If I had money, I was talking about Tonka trucks, heavy equipment. Go out there and just play around, move the earth around, and you could really build something great. But you have to have money and you have to have equipment, and I'd be planting me some trees. I don't like it all barren. I mean, it's great for what it is. Part of it can be a wheat farm. But myself, I want shade trees. I want privacy. I want some water, like a stream. I don't want much. No, it's not a bad area. It's just not what I would choose necessarily. I was born in North Carolina, and where I lived, there was the woods. There was a lot of woods. It was wonderful. Well, played in the woods quite a bit as a child. Memories. Good night, Alexandra. Thanks for popping on. I appreciate it. I get carried away. That would be really good. That would be superb. It would make things a lot better. But yeah, we did. Or was that someone else? I might get a little confused. We did have, and we still do have, out in that blue trailer, a thing called, what was it called? It was for getting rid of not groundhogs, prairie dogs. Getting rid of the prairie dogs. You stick it down the prairie dog hole, fill it with propane, and then light it. Anyway, I bought a couple of those things. Need to put them back together. They were kind of spendy little units. And if there's prairie dogs back, that's too bad because I paid a bunch to get rid of them. Yeah, a prairie dog blaster or something like that. And they are. I have 2 of them out there in the blue trailer over by the metal building. I think one of them needs another part. I can't remember what happened. Something came off. But anyway. Well, I don't know. You got on after I was done with my scripture reading, huh? Did anybody hear any of that? It's one thing I like about YouTube and their lives is that they're there. Once they upload, they stay, as far as I know. They don't disappear. Now, I did a live on TikTok, but I never did see it again. And all of my lives on YouTube are there. It was just you. Well, on the first part of this, I read a little bit out of the Book of Mormon. So I didn't know if you had heard that or not. And I did start reading a book called Added Upon, which is really interesting. Like I said, the copyright's from 1898. But it's a fictional book. Talks about the pre-existence and then this existence and then the next one. Oh, cool. Oh, you mean today? You heard a little bit. Okay. Well, it was interesting, actually, if you knew what I was talking about. But the words of Mormon, everybody, not everybody, but some people think that Mormons worship Mormon, but we don't. Mormon is just a really important character from way long time ago who abridged records, also fought in wars, bloody battles, and talked with God. He was also a prophet. He was a prophet. He was a historian. He was a record keeper, an abridger of records. He pulled out the most important things out of old records and put it together in a smaller book called the Book of Mormon. And he's got an actual Book of Mormon in the back of this Book of Mormon. And then there's also what I read earlier is called Words of Mormon. He was just talking about putting the plates together and saying that he had witnessed the destruction, almost the total destruction of his people. It's really interesting. So come back and check it out. Thank you. I hope that I try to explain it good. Hopefully people can understand what I'm doing. But it is really good. And so if you only heard a little bit, I was showing the Book of Mormon. And then I was showing some of the pictures on the front. I was looking for a picture of Mormon, which is not a real picture, it's a depiction. But if you look at my post, go where you can see my post and then scroll down and you'll find one that's got this guy sitting there and a golden record and also, I don't know if the golden record's there or not, because that's Moroni. But he was he was writing. He was pulling records out and writing. See, there's Jesus. I'll show you Moroni. That's Moroni. He was the last living Nephite, and he was hiding up the record before he was going off to go die. And it actually shows the stone box. There's a stone box down here that he's about to put the record into. So this book is just super, super neat. And I would suggest that everybody delve into it. And yes, we believe in Jesus Christ. Totally. Okay. Well, is there anything you want to talk about before I go? I think what I'll do is go ahead and read a little section out of that Added Upon. What I did was I started reading Added Upon because I talked about it and someone mentioned it and they wanted to know if I was going to read it. So I decided, well, that must mean they want me to read it. So I'm doing it. But I have to do it in little segments because it's hard to read. And so my point is, this book, Added Upon, I've just started, I'm labeling it Added Upon 1, 2, 3, 4. So as I do a video, then I'm putting a number to it. So you can follow the book at your own leisure. It's interesting. Maybe not for you. I think it's interesting. But nevertheless, well, I tell you what, Jacob, I appreciate you getting on. And I think I will go ahead and leave. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? Thanks for taking care of things. Good night. Okay. Bye.